My name's John Ryan, and I spend my time writing and drawing picture storybooks. The other day, I decided to write some stories about something that happened a long, long time ago. The story of Mr. Noah and how he saved all the animals from the great flood. That meant I had to draw animals. So I went out to a toy shop and I bought all these toy animals here so that I could see exactly what they looked like. Now maybe you've heard how Mr. Noah took 2 of every kind of creature onto the ark. He took 2 huge elephants and 2 big fat hippos. He took 2 fierce, angry-looking crocodiles, 2 little fat pigs, and 2 little pelican birds. And he took 2 giraffes. Now, we've got 1 giraffe already drawn on this piece of paper here. Let's see if I can draw the other one. They are funny creatures, giraffes. They've got these tall spikes sticking out of the tops of their heads, and big ears, and large, solemn eyes, and long noses, and very, very long necks. The necks seem to go on forever. They've got long, long manes, too, all the way down the backs of their necks. Now, my first story is called All Aboard. There was once a boy called Japhet who was good with animals, all sorts of different kinds of animals. He was good with tame ones like dogs, cats, pigs, sheep and cows, and fierce ones too. Even the very big ones didn't frighten him, because in fact Japhet had to look after just about every kind of animal for his father, whose name was Noah. Noah was building a boat called an Ark to put all the animals in when the rain came. For he and his wife, Mrs. Noah, knew that it was going to rain for 40 days and 40 nights, and that all the world and everything outside the Ark would be drowned. Japhet had an older brother called Shem, who was lean and severe. He had to be, because he looked after the stores and the money. And he had another older brother called Ham, who was fat and kind and cheery, and did most of the carpentry on the ark. Shem's wife was thin too. She was a good soul, but not very cheerful, whereas Ham had a happy, chubby wife, and her cooking was wonderful. Japhet also had a friend called Janet. She was good with animals too, and she was also collecting them for the ark. Now one day, Japhet and Janet found a baby crocodile called Crockle. He became their special animal friend. But the trouble was that there were already 2 perfectly good crocodiles on the list, or perfectly bad ones, and Japhet and Janet knew that when the time came to go aboard, Crockle would have to be left behind because Father Noah had said so. Then one day the whole sky was blotted out with great black clouds. Noah knew that the time had come. "All aboard! Line up the animals, Japhet," he cried. "And remember, Shem, only 1 pair of each kind. That is an order."
"Just leave it to me, Father," replied Shem. "I'll see that there are no gate crashers. And don't let me catch you trying to smuggle that one aboard," he said to Japhet. Poor Japhet. He knew there was nothing he could do. So he said goodbye to Crockle, and so did Janet, and they both got ready to put all the animals aboard the ark. Crockle crept sadly away, crying a crocodile tear or 2. "The animals are all in alphabetical order, so the A's come first," called Japhet, trying to be cheerful. Here's one pair of aardvarks for a start. Shem ticked off the aardvarks. And one pair of ants, said Japhet. Wait, said Shem. I must find my magnifying glass. Right. Now, where are they? Well, they were there, said Japhet. But next on the list came the anteaters, and they aren't there anymore. Said Shem. Maybe alphabetical order wasn't such a good idea. Now we'll have to find some more ants. Meanwhile, Crockle was wandering along the underside of the ark. There he met Ham, who was making sure that everything was watertight and ready for the rain. Why, it's young Crockle, said Ham. Look what I've just noticed, young Crockle. There's a bunghole as big as a baby crocodile. I must go and find a bung to stop it up with. Otherwise there's no telling what mightn't get in, is there? And away went Ham in search of a bung. When he got back, there was no sign of Crockle anywhere. Thought Ham. All this while, 2 by 2, the animals were marching into the ark. It was none too easy getting some of the larger ones through the door, and there was a certain amount of pushing and shoving, but for the most part, everyone was very well behaved. Last of all came the zebras, and when Shem was satisfied that 2 of every single kind of animal had gone on board, it was the turn of the family and their baggage. Then the sky grew even darker. "Get under cover!" shouted Mr. Noah. "Under cover, everybody, and batten down the hatches. It'll rain before nightfall." Later on, when everybody was safe inside, it was feeding time. "Remember now," said Mr. Noah, "no animals may eat any other animals. Like it or not, we're all vegetarians on this trip." So the animals had supper. There was hay for some, and fruit for others, and a special tasty porridge for the fiercer sort of animal. Everybody enjoyed the meal, although some found it more difficult than others. Then the family had their supper. As it was Mrs. Ham's turn to do the cooking, it was very good indeed. But Japhet was too upset to enjoy his food. He sat down in a corner and thought about Crockle, all alone outside in the rain. Then, suddenly, he felt something nibbling at his heel. He looked down, and there was Crockle. Japhet was thrilled. "How ever did you get here?" he said. But just then Ham walked by, and he told Japhet all about how Crockle had got through the bunghole into the ark. Then they saw Shem checking his lists. "Oh dear," said Japhet, "I'll have to put you back on land, Crockle." But Ham said, "Nonsense, you can't do that. Mr. Noah says that no animals may leave the ark after embarkation." "That settles it then," said Japhet. "It means that once you come on board, Crockle, you can't get off again. You'd best move in with me. Nobody will find you there." That night the rain began. Heavier and heavier it fell. But inside the ark, all the people and the animals slept warm and snug and dry, especially Japhet and Crockle.
Well, that's the end of All Aboard. Crockle was lucky, wasn't he? And next week I shall be back to tell you about another of his adventures on board Noah's Ark. Until then, goodbye.